Alrighty then. Well, welcome back to Dragon of Icespire Peak. As a brief recap of last session, you all made your way to the Ashby Manor, the headquarters of the Nightfangs, after dealing with some sharks, and had a wonderful conversation with the lady of the manor, Miss Ashby Bennett, who is also the, we'll say, de facto leader of the Nightfangs, as they only answer to her. Uh, you got a tour of the mansion, a self-inflicted one, I guess. um, and each of you had an event transpire that night. Afterwards, you were left to rest. And as we start this new session off, you all are awoken fairly early in the morning to the sounds of birds singing in your room. What once was invisible manifests itself as a very visible, beautiful blue bird. You can think of it or imagine it as the star bird from Final Fantasy. Uh, it will manifest itself inside your room with gleeful singing and chirping before Ashby Bennett's voice will ring out from it, informing you all that breakfast will be ready in half a bell. Wash up and bring yourselves downstairs to plan our day over a delicious meal. And with that, you all are found roused in your respective bedrooms and may go about the half bell as you please.
She's not my mom, but I'll totally follow suit, I guess. just this one time.
Just this one time, huh?
Right.
Just as a quick reminder, you each did get your own separate rooms. Lionel, your room is to the west there, just above Thorns. And Reginald, you have a large suite to yourself, away from them.
Me. Big room.
How would we like to proceed?
Well, Reginald having, I guess, dawned the new day now, he will just kind of loiter about, no real urgency, obviously. He feels pretty at home, so he's just going to hang out and chill and take in everything and not really stress it and just wait until it's food time.
Very well. Lionel.
I think I will go and wash my face, but then until the bell, I am more than likely pacing back and forth in my room.
Gee,
out
I
of
wonder
nervousness. Huh?
why. Said, gee, I wonder why.
Can't imagine why. Not at all.
And Thorn.
I think in similar steps, Thorn kind of goes and washes up a little bit. I imagine her clothes, her armor and stuff is still caked in a very healthy layer of dirt. But she'll kind of clean up her hands and her scales a little bit. Yeah, and then she just goes back to her room and she'll wait and just kind of sits on the dresser or whatever that's nearest to a window and just kind of stares at it and waits for breakfast time.
Thorn, your view grants you a look out into the training yard and beyond it, what you believe to be a workshop attached to some sort of maybe wizarding tower. And as you watch, a large cart is being drawn in with a covered mass inside of it. But beyond that, the half bell uh, passes, and a knock at each of your doors reveals. I forgot her name. Tira? Tira sounds right.
Sounds about right.
I believe so.
Tira. Tira will make her way to each of your rooms to gather you, starting you with you, Thorn, as you're furthest away. So you see this um, female elf at the door. Do you choose to follow her? She is inviting you downstairs as an escort.
Yeah, I'll follow her.
Lionel.
Yeah, I think she'll interrupt his pacing and he will follow and still be contemplating things. So his full attention isn't there. More just enough so he doesn't bump into anything.
Very well. And Reginald.
I accompany.
Then she will lead you all downstairs to the dining hall. And contrary to the night before, the dining hall is not shoved with exquisite meats or anything of the sort. In fact, uh, surprisingly, there are no meats on the table. A modest breakfast decorates a table consisting of homegrown fruits and vegetables, oats and breads, jams and honeys, and iced water with tea leaves should you desire some. There is no meat on the table. And you're also not alone. As you all enter, Tira seats you all in the same seats that you were in the night prior, and Miss Ashby Bennett sits across from you once again. And flanked on either side of you and either side of her are four more elves, each wearing a almost sinister uh, black armor that you all recognize from the field. But as Ashby takes her seat across from you, um, she will remark to you all, I hope you do not mind the extra company. These four compromise my honor guard, and I honor them for their service by treating them as equals. You can trust that anything we discuss will be kept in confidence. The elves uh, do not react to her at all. It's as if they can't hear her or choose not to hear her. But Ashby does not start conversation right away. She will actually take time to eat. And you get the gist that this is not a formal type banquet meal. This is actually people eating as people eat, grabbing food and, you know, with a gusto chowing down.
I think Lionel will just eat and not say a word.
No requests for your famous black drink that you've
No,
had in every campaign thus.
no, 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 no.
He means
I had
yes, but he
enough
just keeps saying
jitters.
no.
I had enough jitters the night before. Wide awake.
I think that Thorn's like, Thorn sits herself and she goes and just grabs like the nearest like hunk of bread and is just kind of absent-mindedly eating. Like she's just tearing off little pieces and just kind of looking around, but not really looking at anything. She seems particularly small today, where her ears are normally, up and perked and listening. They're more drooped off to the side. She's kind of slouched a little bit, just feeling very small at the moment. And she just quietly eats her breakfast and doesn't mind these new additions too much.
Well, how's Reginald looking?
So Reginald is maybe a little apprehensive, but at the same time trying to just kind of effortlessly have no care. But he's really apprehensive about the fact that he witnessed the things that he did, but he doesn't want to talk about them and make mention of them because he doesn't really know what side he's on, I guess is the right question in terms of the things that kind of came about, and he doesn't want to offer the information up and then be like for or against, because obviously like both sides of the equation are here sitting next to him. So it's like it would be like drawing a line in the sand, and he's not ready for that yet. So
Well, Ashby seems totally contented as she eats. She doesn't look at any of you, but after maybe 10 minutes of eating and relaxation, the four elves have at this point consumed their meals and made their ways away from the table with slight bows and murmurs of appreciation. They avoid eye contact with all three of you, but otherwise leave the dining room and leave you with Ashby. And after the last one leaves, she looks up at you all and says, "You all are extremely talkative this morning. I wish I could keep up." Very well.
yes, well, it certainly is the food that is silencing me. It's simple yet works on many levels.
She smiles at you, and it's the same kind of smile that you received those nights before. Very disarming, very alluring. And she says, "Reginald, of all the people here, you are the most at ease, and I appreciate that deeply. However, you don't have to hide from me. I'm aware of everything that transpires in this household, and your friends went through it last night, though it does not seem they wish to speak of it, which is fine. But I wish to iterate. I am your ally. I wish nothing but the best for you all. I invited you into my home so that you may understand what we are, and in turn, we may assist you. Well, as much as House Fortno will allow me to."
Inside check.
Go ahead.
Key to rolling that "you bitch" die to see where it falls.
I believe everything she says ever.
Maybe you don't believe her, but you have no reason to doubt her. Her words don't come off as honeyed as they do the night before. She's not trying to win your approval with what she's saying. Simply saying facts. But after a few moments more of silence, she will push her plate away, and one of the servants nearby will come take it from her. And she will say to you all, hold on, I have to find where I wrote it.
She would say, "Poo poo pee pee."
Well, I suppose we should at least discuss a bit of what my partner said to us last night, Reginald. If what my partner has said is true, it is likely that two locations should be investigated by you three. The first of which being Butterskull Ranch, and the second of which being Axholm. The reason I say this is that we believe Connieberry has already been lost. The orcs have had a lot of time to make their way from the mountains and to Connieberry, which did not have much of a guard to speak of. But if anybody would have survived Connieberry, they would have went to Butterskull Ranch. So if you're to save anybody, which is your duty, she says, looking directly at you, Reginald, nodding, then I would say that Butterskull Ranch would be the place to be, and to escort them to Fandalen. And from there, it would probably be best to investigate Axholm, the old dwarven fortress. My men tell me that it has been sealed for a very long time, so there's undoubtedly some critters in there that will need evicting, but it should serve extremely serviceable to the people of Fandalen if a dragon attacks Fandalen again. These are my recommendations to you as a person in a position to not help, only observe, because your father is an ass. That is what I offer you. Beyond that, in a capacity not of aiding you, I do have some wondrous things I'd love to show you that you might push up to your father and let him know that we are not without merit.
Well, yes, that would be quite lovely to review and potentially comment on to my father. Yes. Additionally, we were in the region of Conneberry, what, not a week ago, and it didn't appear to be in ruins. However, I I don't know or can't entirely state that we made a trip through the actual township proper, but it didn't appear to be overrun at that time. Is this a recent development?
She takes a very grim expression. 2 days ago, the individuals that you came across on the trail, the two that insulted you, she taps her fingers loudly. I sent them back because that was their job, to defend the outskirts of Coneybury. The dragon's horde has grown large, and those two were overwhelmed. Coneybury, well, I have no means of scrying it from here without having a night fang there. And the only night fangs I can scry are in a heap on the side of the road.
Certainly grim. I understand.
Either way, If there's anything worth saving, it should be our job to save it. We believe Coneyberry to be a loss because of the forces that we saw roaming through. So, anywhere that they might have fled, the only locations to flee that would be safe would probably be Butterskull Ranch. There was an individual there. I fail to remember his name, but he was a retired veteran of the Guard. So, natural leadership potential, skill at arms, the common people would have sought him out.
Yes, it certainly does seem logical. I concur. So, perhaps then we make for this ranch, this Butter Skull Ranch, as our next destination.
Indeed. Well, I say indeed, but really I suppose that's up to you and your compatriots.
Uh, Thorn just kind of like tears off another hunk of bread and chews it for a minute and like kind of like feels the question in the air, like that, just that like waiting for people to respond kind of thing, and doesn't look up from the table and just kind of goes, "Okay, we go to the ranch."
Um, since we've been through the area, we haven't specifically visited either place, but we've been through there geologically and stuff, and we've wandered about. Is there any other place that when we were walking through there prior to the event she's describing of her night fangs being in a heap, that looks like it could have also served as another retreat for the villagers and the townsfolk?
The only other place that comes to mind would have been the Dwarven excavation site,
Mm-hmm.
which is about 15 miles southwestish, if I remember correctly, of Fandalen. Uh, that, however, is currently occupied.
Right. Okay. I think Lionel, he's not going to look to Ashby. He's just going to look to Reginald and simply not agreeing with the assessment, but not really saying anything.
Well, I suppose then that is the confirmation.
Very well. Well, if you have time, I would love to show you the workshop and the library and give you all an opportunity, at least for the day, to study up on dragons and Axholm if it's so your desire. We also have a highly efficient workshop that I would love to show at least to you. She nods to you, Lionel. And, well, if you would like, the offer is there. Else, I can have my servants ready your cart for the return trip to either Fandalen or to continue on to Butterskull Ranch, whatever it is you desire.
Well, I believe my desire would be to investigate these items you have in this workshop in the library. This is quite intriguing, and well, the ranch. We can get to the ranch still.
Marvelous. And with that, she'll stand up, turn around, and walk out the door behind her. I unfortunately was not able to make a map for this or find one that I thought to be adequate. So engage with me in theater of the mind.
Yes, cover your eyes.
As she exits the back door there, uh, she leads you all through a winding garden path that leads along the eastern edge of a very large training field where several warriors and mages and archers are plying their craft, uh, practicing, honing. And as you all wind, you pass a stable with numerous beautiful steeds, um, and eventually come across a very large workshop type building. The front of its walls are, well, it doesn't have front walls, it's just open space with a roof. On either side, it's flanked by two massive furnaces that are in the process of melting unknown ores into even more unknown alloys and metals. And across from those are smithing benches with, God, you only wish you could have had these tools. But everything here has an air of an enchantment to it. The woodworking that's a little further in, the weaving, the cloth work. This is a full-on workshop where ideas are brought to life. And the center of this workshop is a tower, a circular tower that is very reminiscent of a wizard's tower. And as you all pass through the threshold into the workshop, you're each struck with inspiration for crafting and thinking and writing. Anything that interests you, you're suddenly thinking it, and you have this innate urge to go and bring it to life. And as you all approach the tower, you can see immediately on the inside of it, it's a library. It's a massive library. Uh, Condensed bookshelves that, as you grow closer, seem to unfold from pockets of spaces, uh, bloom into life, and specters, ghosts of undead and long forgotten wizards and artisans and artists roam these halls with a mood that says they're at home. They mingle with the living, the elves there, and the majority of this populace is elvish. In fact, uh, there's only two other individuals here that aren't elvish. But as you all progress through, you enter the center of the library, and it's kind of like walking into what is the room of requirement in Harry Potter. That was just a wall, and it would only present itself to
Yeah.
students in need. It's sort of like that. You suddenly find yourself in the center of a tower. All the shelves are gone, and in the center of this room is now a pedestal, and on that pedestal is a holographic projection of the local area of the Sword Coast with dots beeping on it that signify either people or locations. Welcome to the Night Fangs Library. You will have noticed our first and crowning achievement as you cross the threshold into this factory of ingenuity. And that is where we have laid bare the weave of magic and imbued it with creativity of the natural world. Everything you felt is natural, only multiplied by the magical forces innate in our world. This is how we craft the things that we craft, such as, and she waves her hand at the holographic, futuristic map style. I mean, think Helldivers, map style. There you go. This allows me to allows me to keep track of all of my night fangs, wherever they may be. As long as they are wearing that bracelet that you have in your pouch, Reginald, I will know where they are at. Additionally, if they cast a marking spell, I will be able to track whatever they mark, assuming it doesn't pass through a field of disenchantment. But from self-inking letters to magical arms and armor that either weigh nothing or have a very specific function, all of that is done here.
Well, certainly impressive.
Yes,
Impressive is an understatement. The fact that she can literally call forth the will to create in people when they don't even want it is astounding.
Well, it was our crowning achievement thus far. However, I can't say that we made it. It was something that we discovered and improved upon.
Final Fantasy not teach you people anything. Don't fuck with the Allegan technology. It doesn't go well.
I mean, not until they actually try to capture a dragon.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Allegan Empire had it right.
Yeah, Emperor Zand, totally right. That's why he's dead on his throne of crystal that was actually someone else's that he stole, that but now we get to use to travel
Multiple
around.
times, I will remind people. Multiple times.
I need to explain to you what I just heard. I heard ampersand, like the symbol.
Okay.
It took me a second to realize you said
And-
Emperor Zant.
And
And Zand.
Well, there are books here about Axholm and the surrounding areas, about dragons and dragon slaying, if you choose to inquire on those topics. And if the urge takes you and you discover something that you wish to bring to life, my artisans are more than happy to acquit themselves for you.
But I will definitely consider this. It's quite a feat to think. What could I desire for something to be fashioned, made?
It's an excellent question, but this is me as the DM telling you that in this moment, you all have the ability to craft something at an expedited manner, if that is something that you choose to do. Research something, be it anything I've suggested thus far or anything of your own interests for your characters, or request something be made. Um, no request not be considered. However, the more outlandish the request, the less likely I am to have the ability to make it. To put in perspective the magic field that's going on here, if you are choosing to craft something, I will have you craft it with advantage. If you roll high enough, I will give it bonus features. Same if you are requesting it to have something made. If you are researching something, depending on how you roll, your roll will automatically succeed. However, depending on what you roll, will depend on how much I give you. Is that Does that explain what I've tried to narrate thus far?
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome, because I've been doing a lot of talking. It's somebody else's time.
Thorn kind of looks around a little bit. Looks up at. No, I don't think she would look up at anybody. Just kind of like looks around, looks at all the books in the library, looks at the workshop. Sighs. Thorn can read fairly well, and Thorn is good at finding things, tracking things. Thorn will research stuff about the dragon.
I do good read. Very well. Is there anything in particular about the dragon you are trying to find out, or just dragon stuff in general?
I think that Thorn, being from a hunting tribe, a hunting and gathering, bartering tribe, I think that she would look for not necessarily weaknesses in dragons, but things that have either weakened dragons in past, like mythos, or things that could inhibit a dragon long enough for a party to slay one. If not a direct weakness, then something that would at least inconvenience it enough to give them an opening.
Roll me 2d20s.
Wow, fantastic rolls tonight. Great.
What you learn is
Dragons are invincible. Got it.
what you learn is that nearby, north of Leyland, going up the high road a little bit to the east, is a location known as the Dragon Barrow. It is rumored that there is a weapon of dragon slaying there. Weapons of dragon slaying, it is explained in this tome, deal innately more damage, where a normal sword would simply cut, a dragon slaying weapon will shear.
Cool. I think I know Reginald and Lionel are gonna go do stuff too, but I think after she does that, she takes like a sheaf of paper and folds it over a couple times, and like bookmarks the areas that she thinks are of import, especially with that location and the dragon weapons. I think she just kind of walks over to Reginald and like dumps the book in his lap kind of unceremoniously and silently, and exits the workshop once she's done.
Reginald will just kind of be like, okay, well, I suppose I have a book to look into now.
What is Lionel doing?
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is this the place where I could craft what I've wanted to craft, or no?
What have you wanted to craft? If you do not
My
want to tell it all aloud, then DM me.
Secret messages.
Yes. However, this will not technically be that. It will be a version that only responds to you.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
So, yes, if you roll, I will have it made.
Okay. I think with all of this, especially with the fact that essentially he is being either naturally or unnaturally inspired by the whims of magic and his encounter last night and everything at the forefront of his mind, I think he knows what he knows what his goal is to get something so that he can get to his ultimate goal, but he has always had her safety in mind first of he needs to test this on himself before anything else. So if he feels he can do it, he is going to try and do that, and he is going to spend as much time as it takes here to do that within the time that we have allotted to us. And he's not going to say anything to either Reginald or Thorn. He is just going to head to the nearest open workstation that he can and start looking through the metals until he finds what he's looking for and trying to create it.
Very well. Roll 2d20.
Okie doke.
Plus, are you using your own tools or are you using the workshop tools?
I am going to be using my own smithing tools. As much as these tools might look immaculate, Lionel, I think, still has a very love-hate attachment with his own tools because of what they symbolize to him. So he will be using his own. He wants this to be creative, his own hands, not anyone else's.
Very well. Roll with what would that be? You've got Smith's tools. You got proficiency in Smith tools.
Essentially, what proficiency offers is that I can add my proficiency bonus to whatever check you are having me do involving those tools. So if it's just a straight D20 roll, I'd just be adding my proficiency bonus, which is a +2.
Yep, do roll 2d20s.
Okay. With my proficiency bonus?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at that. Hit it. What specifically are you crafting? Obviously armor, but
What type of armor you mean?
yes. What is the weight class, or what would be the weight class?
Okay.
What is its protection rating?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let me just double check. So I want to make sure I'm getting the right one. Um... Sorry, I just gotta check something real quickly. I think Lionel is going for plate armor with this. I do have proficiency in heavy armor. Yeah, I do. So Lionel is going for plate with this. Which has an AC of 18. Will give me disadvantage on stealth checks. It has a strength requirement of 15, but because of my subclass, I can make it my magical armor, which he will be doing as he is crafting this. He'll make it his arcane armor, which means I can ignore the strength requirement for it.
Oh, let's see. Yes. It's a huge bonus to your AC.
If you want me to go, if you feel I should go smaller, that is fine too. We can go with half plate instead.
Do the plate.
Okay.
The armor reacts the way you expect it to you. However, it will not react the same way, and you are aware of this as you are crafting it to anyone else.
Okay.
So do with that information what you will.
My question to you is, does it feel like it's the same as when I first saw it, where it has almost that semblance of sentience to it, but it's only when it's around me, or is it something different out of curiosity?
It has a sentience. However, what you saw before, while magical, was naturally magical. You have
This is not. Okay.
synthesized this.
Okay. I think if either one of them is seeing Lionel as he is working, he is at the bellows and at the forge, and you see that he is in his element with this, and that he is just lost in his own world with it. And occasionally, whenever you see the metal, especially as it's coming to the end of him creating this, like he'll pick up a gauntlet of the plate and put it on, and he will kind of stare at from it, and its shape will change to something else, almost as if he is willing it or asking it to change shape, and it will morph back and forth between some items and then go back to what its original shape is when he's satisfied, and then he'll continue working on it. He does all this in complete silence without acknowledging anyone around him if they're talking to him. He just makes sure he's not in anyone's way, but he's completely in his own world.
You have two onlookers, but they are not Reginald or Thorn.
I do not pay attention to them at all.
Reginald,
Yes.
did you have anything that you wished to study or make?
So make, I don't believe so. Study, I think his current path line and desire in that regard for research would be tied to probably the dragon, our target currently as well, and things of the region that would be relevant.
So, in regards to the dragon, go ahead and roll me 2d20s.
Yikes. 8 and a 4. That's pretty shit.
Still better than what I rolled.
Not by a lot, though. Not by a lot.
Yeah, y'all are not rolling that well tonight. Maybe I should put you in combat to bring out those d20 or those 20. So, what you discover about the dragon, at the least, is the name of the dragon, which I will send to you here shortly after I look it up again, as well as magical weaknesses of the dragon. So anything that it might be susceptible to, which is something I will again link to you.
Coo.
All right. Um, this studying and crafting, Lionel, your crafting probably should have taken weeks. However,
Yep.
time's a weird soup here. You were sort of locked in a bubble as you were crafting, and pop out at around the same time as everybody gets done with their studying. And Ashby goes to gather you all. Starting with you, Reginald, as you have stayed in the library, she says, "Well, I believe it is about time for you all to start making your moves, lest Butterskull Wrench be lost. While I have loved having you here, and I wish that I could have shown you more, I think it's probably best if you all set on your way."
Ah, yes, I agree. I didn't quite realize just exactly how much time has transpired.
Yes, time functions differently within the bounds of the weave. But, be that as it may, let us go gather your friends. And, as if she knows where each of you are, she goes to collect you all. However, as she goes to collect you, Thorn, uh, where are you? Just out and about in the field?
Yeah, I think Thorn left the workshop and is still pretty distracted and just kind of like starts doing laps around whatever like compound is out here. Um, she has a lot of curiosity still, despite being kind of down. And I think that she like looks in on the stables, um, and like looks up and kind of like finds her room or where she thinks her room would be, like her window, and then starts like going towards where she thinks the wagon would have gone.
Well, before we delve into that, we're going to take a quick intermission to put Luke down to bed.
Okie dokie.
Okie doke.
And now we will switch to Bear Cam.
Oh yes, the lovable little buzzball. Who has claimed part of your hand.
Yes. He will claim more too if I go to pet him right now. I can tell. I can tell that he's kind of in that mood of I don't want to be fucked with. I just want to try to lay here and sleep kind of situation, even though he's not really sleeping.
Yeah. I am here and I have picked this spot to lie down and claim as my own. Do not touch
Right.
me. Mere mortal.
Right, exactly. Now he may actually be going to sleep. It's all on the amount of tail motion.
All right, everybody here?
Yes.
And a guest star with Bear.
Yeah, I gave everyone on the stream a little bear cam, while we were away to fill the intermission, and it did not disappoint.
Nice. Our idiot cat has found something that's rolling on the floor out there.
Oh,
He
boy.
is meowed. Uh, so, Thorn went looking for the wagon that she saw. You found it, or you find it in the stables. The tarp has been thrown to the side, and it's got blood on it. Maybe a little bit alarming. Whatever it was carrying was fairly huge. The distance between you and it at the time had made it seem maybe a little bit smaller. But it has been dragged, whatever it was, uh, toward the workshop, the, the back end of it.
Thorn will follow the drag marks.
You do not get to follow it very far, as you come across Miss Ashby Bennett leading a Reginald and a Lionel. And she smiles politely at you, seeing what you're doing. But as she goes to open her mouth, there is a wrenching sound of iron being torn apart, and maybe a slight shaking of the ground and a very draconic roar coming from the direction that you were going.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ashby immediately pales. She puts her fingers to her lips and gives a loud whistle. And her honor guard seem to materialize out of nowhere, as if they've been close at hand this entire time. And they flank the four of you. We must make our ways back to the manse. Please come quickly. Let our guards deal with whatever is happening.
What are they dealing with?
Well, your guess would be as good as mine at the moment. So let us go to somewhere where we can analyze what is happening. Thorn, you are racked with a full body headache. It starts in your skull and uh, ices its way through your entire being. Please roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oof.
She might be good at those.
I have a +2.
So far her best roll for the night.
Mm-hmm.
You immediately recognize this as the same feeling that you experienced the night before. However, it is not affecting you. It is not enclosing your mind, but somebody nearby's. And as if on cue, uh, about 50 feet away, through a brick wall, bursts a very large, copper skinned lizard folk. Blood streaming with wounds that he had already sustained, and even now, as he grabs the nearest guard and chucks them, who knows how far away, with strength that is extremely terrifying.
I think. Lionel and Reginald would both hear, but before the breaking of walls, they would hear just like the quietest uh, whimper from Thorn at this full body headache. And she kind of like sways on her feet a little bit, and then the breaking happens, and Thorn is gone. There's not a second that she would hesitate, and she's if I need to, full dashing towards towards this person.
I didn't save my token, so I need a moment.
No worries.
For the sake of this engagement, we're going to be using this back portion of the manor here. Go ahead and do a character check. Make sure you all can still move. Nothing's changed. Because I did have to redo some of the tokens. So, cake. Then, a little ways away, you all see Coria. Thorn, since you said that you wanted to move, Coria is where he is on the map. Please adjust yourself within whatever distance you choose.
Yeah, I think she just takes her full, well, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. Fuck it, I'll dash. She just gets, like, right there.
Please roll for initiative.
You want all of us, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Lionel,
Yes, sir.
it is your turn. Before you is a very ragged, bloody, haggard, hurting, enraged Oreo. His
I
eyes glow
Mhm.
a very bright white.
I think in this moment, his armor starts to react to him and it starts to crawl all over him and crawl up him. And as he's doing this, I'm going to use my bonus action to shift as well. So that when the helmet comes up, it's not like a standard plate helmet. It just starts to take on the look of a hyena's actual face, as if it was a were hyena. And I think right before the mouth kind of like closes to seal him in the armor, he just turns to Ashby and states to her, "What did you do?" And I think I will then use my movement 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 to move here, just because I don't know if you want me to count actually donning this armor as an action, because that's what it would normally be for my arcane armor.
It is not
And
an
that's
action to don this armor.
okay. And then I think as my action then, what I will, I don't even know what to do. I think what I will do is I will just I'll just use my action to move again, to move up to my full speed so that I can get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 and flank him. And that will be my turn.
Very well. Ashby looks to you, Reginald, and pleads for you to flee with her. What would you like to do?
Goodness. I think Reginald kind of torn between the situation right now of following his instinctual and nudged assertion to leave versus sticking with his friends, clearly in the middle of something intense. I think he will. I think he will choose to stay and kind of go towards this individual.
Ashby curses you for a fool.
Well, I mean, she could suck at
Yeah,
it.
she can suck up.
Are you just moving? Or are you?
I'm just moving because I don't know how the play is going to go here, and I am kind of observing the situation after having made that decision.
Very well. Being that you have each effectively taken a turn, it is now Coria's turn. Thorn, please roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit!
I'm going to use my inspiration for this.
You are not rolling for yourself. You do not have to use your inspiration if you no longer wish to. Very well. You will? Reroll. Actually, don't reroll. I'm going to pseudo change the rules for inspiration for this case and say that you automatically succeed. Additionally, I would like to have you roll me a general luck roll. Just a d20. Coria's inner mind is reaching for you, and you can sense that via whatever divine powers you think would facilitate that. But you know for some reason that this isn't Coria. This isn't Coria's mind. This is obviously the dragon's mind, the same way it was for you. But being that one of you just magically donned some armor, some armor that is, well, pretty good. Let's see if I can hit it.
Might very well might be able to.
I just rolled 3 4s and a 2.
Okay. Doing its job.
Not gonna lie, I'm really pissed off about that.
I'm not. I'm happy. It means how it hurt.
As if fighting with itself, with himself, Coria looms over you, and every fist thrown. Well, I say thrown fists. He's trying to grab you. But something stays his hand. His own muscles contracting at the last possible second to offer you that inch of freedom to break away. And as the last hand misses, he falls down onto all 4 of his hands, and he puts his face mere inches from yours and just lets out this draconic roar that shakes you to your bone. You feel those dragon's words. He will have his revenge. But Thorn,
Thorn's gonna see Coria kneel, and I think she vaults onto him, just from where she is. She kind of scrunches down a little bit like a cat before it pounces, and vaults onto him and onto his shoulders. And she's going to wrap her arms around his neck and just kind of loudly plead with him. Coria, if Thorn could do it, you could do it too. You have to do it. You have to. And as she goes to say the last word, I'm going to cast Command. And I'm going to just say, resist. So he has to make me a Wisdom 11.
he fails. You feel his body tense up, his arms instinctually reaching to grab yours, tiny as they are compared to him. But he stops short, and he grips the ground, the stonework caving underneath of his grip. And he continues to roar. Please roll me a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Ooh.
Would you like to do anything else with your turn?
Nope. I think that Thorn just says that and just holds on.
Lionel,
Mm-hmm.
what would you like to do?
What size is Korea again? Is he considered large, I take it?
Yes.
Okay. Shit. Well, that's unfortunate. So I thought I had something that could help, but apparently not.
Size
Um,
matters.
Yeah, size does matter in this case by a lot. I think what I will do is I will have my rope ready to go, but I won't try and no one has that.
You'd enjoy that far too much.
I'll get my rope ready for this, but I think I will respond to the words that I am seeing and hearing in this roar. I don't want to say it's going to be with my own roar, but I will say back in Draconic as loudly as I can, almost as a howl, since I'm shifted, that I will say, take your revenge on me and not him. And I will just scream that back at Coriel, still under the perception that that the dragon is talking through him. And I'm not talking to Coria, but the dragon, and trying to kind of like force it to challenge me directly and not do this through someone else.
Very well. Is that your turn?
Yes, I have the rope ready, but I'm not going to do anything yet because I don't know if I can assist Thorn in what she's trying to do. Because I'm not quite sure if she's just hanging on for dear life or if she's trying something.
Ashby Bennett will advance. To this position, and Reginald being close enough, you'll hear her say something, and in her hands will magically appear some silver swords. And with another word, she will vanish from where she's at and appear right here next to Coria, where she will attack. To Dice Jail.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
But her blades do not find purchase on Coria's copper scales. Reginald, it is your turn.
All right. Reginald is going to kind of like maneuver a little bit more, and then he is going to try to, subdue the target and or the situation by using. Oh, it didn't. I hit. Well, hold person is the spell I want to use, but it apparently didn't want to show the actual spell card. It just wanted to cast it.
Nice. Size doesn't matter, huh?
Size
No.
does not matter. A properly equipped wizard for the situation.
Can a person afflicted by hold person speak?
I don't think so because they're paralyzed.
Yeah, they're technically paralyzed. If you want to have him say something, you can have it as the spell is taking effect. But I don't think they can say anything until they've thrown off the effect afterwards.
Right. Like they would basically be like, petrified, but not actually transmuted into stone, if that makes sense.
Very well. Well, it goes rigid. Is that your turn?
Yeah, short of, casting the spell and kind of being like, I've got him held. And that will be the end of his turn.
Now, is this a concentration spell?
It is a
It most
concentration
Certainly
spell.
is.
Okay. It says enchantment, so that's why I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yep.
Well,
That's just the school it's from.
Right.
it is now Coria's turn. And since
Actually,
everybody
it
dies-
doesn't. Oh, no, hold on. Duration. Yeah, it's concentration spell.
Well, since the only thing Coria can do is a roll against your hold person, he does so, and he manages to break free.
Well, shit. I had him.
It's as if though, well, something else definitely helped him.
Mm.
As if you were dispelled, not beaten by willpower.
Understood.
That brings us to Thorn.
I think that Thorn. I think that Thorn glares down at Ashby, and she like looks, just like stares her dead in the eyes, loudly enough for her companions to hear her. If you take another swing at him again, I swear to God, I'll gut you. And she's going to do the same thing as before, and she's going to, in Coria's ear, say, resist! And she does it again. She'll also cast command again.
Before you do that, go ahead and roll me a willpower saving throw. Or, I'm sorry, wisdom. With advantage. There's a. So the last roll that you got, there was a flicker and control, and you see it again this time. The fire that's emanating from his eyes diminishes greatly. And his muscles contract, and you can tell it's a voluntary contraction. And he shoves his fists even further into the ground. And his voice reaches you. The pain of subjugation emanating from him. I would rather be dead than taken. Lionel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, roll your casting command again, correct?
You roll a wisdom 11.
13. Was that your turn?
I think that Thorn, seeing that little spark in him, will like pat him really heavily, like just like on the side of his shoulder. Just kind of in trying to like non-verbally encourage him, like, yes, come on, we can do this. And then she just goes back to staring daggers at Ashby. And that'll be my turn.
Lionel.
Does from my position, does it look like Ashby has any intent to follow what Thorn is telling her?
No. To put this in perspective, Ashby just witnessed 3 of her guards get yeeted into the distance with unknown casualties beforehand. She's fighting for her people, just as you are fighting for yours.
Okay. I'm going to move here. And how good of a grip have you got on Coria there, Thorn?
Grappling.
I'm not grappling, but I think that
Okay.
Thorn. This is a very well practiced position for Thorn. She's been climbing on Coria since she was born, more or less. So I mean,
Okay, because what I'm thinking is I might cast Thunderwave to try and give us more space, and Ashby is shoved aside. But I don't know if I'm debating in myself if I should do that or if I should just focus on her and try and get her out of the picture for right now. I don't know. I'm thinking for a moment.
I mean, thematically, Thorn is not here, right? Like Thorn is
Right.
here.
Oh yeah, no. I know. I'm just trying to think of what would be best. I think what Lionel is going to do is he's going to move there. And then he is going to... because I should have... Yes, I do have a shove.
You're much bigger than her. Just shove her.
Right. It's more my strength that I'm concerned about because I don't know what her strength is like. Because I'm going to use... what I want to do is I want to use my action to shove Ashby away. She is medium size. Instead of making an attack roll, you make a strength athletics check contested by the target, strength athletics check, or their dexterity check. The target chooses the ability to use. So I would like to use my action to shove Ashby away from this. And I will say to her as loudly and as menacingly as possible, "We will deal with this, not some blood-crazed killer." And my athletics check for this. I don't have that anymore. Okay. Is an 8.
Well,
Yeah, I know. So she's probably going to succeed and not going to move anywhere.
Not only do you fail to shove her,
Mm-hmm.
but she riposts you. You will take 2d8 points of damage plus 4 for a total of 19 points of damage.
Considering I am here thematically, I'm gonna use my reaction to impose disadvantage on those attacks. If you let me.
So, the way I'm picturing this in my head is that you are gripping Coria's neck. You are in the air. Your arms are occupied. You are not trying to choke him, so I did not count it as a grapple. But being that your arms are occupied, you cannot use a shield.
That's fair. Sorry, Colt.
It's fine. I'm just taking a lot of damage.
She
Okay.
will retort to you. This one alone has killed more than his fair share of my people. Blood-crazed killer, you're looking at that one.
He did not make a deal with something that he does not understand.
And I'm fully insinuating what I am saying.
You don't know that.
Right, I don't, but I have taken I will take the context clues that I have from the conversation I had with him and the game that I saw.
Okay. Very well. I'll allow it.
It might maybe deal was poor choice. Maybe I should have said I did not take a partner with something I didn't understand.
Either way, your meaning hits home. She goes to retort, but visibly decides that you're not worth the breath at this point. However, that does
Go ahead.
does that complete your turn?
I will use my bonus action to activate my defensive field. And then that will end my turn.
Yeah, gain 4 of those 19 back.
Yeah.
Don't you have potions too? Can you?
I do, but this is temp HP. This is something I can do, and then I can do potions and stuff next turn. But this is something to make sure I have something for the turn coming as well.
Well, it is once again Lee Bennett's turn. However, I need everybody in the party to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm out. Peace.
Still rolled better than me.
Yikes. +4, and I came in at an 11.
Well, all 3 of you are suddenly paralyzed.
Ugh, seems legit.
You all also notice that Ashby is paralyzed, but Coria is not.
Less legit.
However, Coria does not move. It is not as if he is paralyzed, but as if his entire motion period has stopped. Like he's not convulsing with paralyzation or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There appears a man, not too far away, who has waved his hand at you all to great effect. You all watch as he slowly approaches and disentangles you, Thorn, from your brother and sets you down beside him. And he leans down to you. And for anybody who wants to know what he says to Thorn, you will have to roll me whatever a lip reading check is. So I'm going to go ahead and say insight. Or maybe perception.
Both the bad.
Yeah, not me.
Nope. The easy time when you can just tell secrets between one player and the DM.
My loyalty is to my god. I am a paladin of Semulania.
You all watch as Dominique reaches down and offers Thorn a hand.
She takes it.
I think Lionel's eyes go wide with fear in regards to this.
There's a flash of purple. A purple light sears the fire out of Coria's eyes, and you all are free to move. Coria, however, slumps forward, gasping for air, and Dominique disappears.
Without turning to look at anyone, Thorn immediately darts to Coria and just takes his big old block head in her hands and is gonna dump 10 HP into him.
Several of his wounds stop bleeding, but there's just so much of him. And he's just been so damaged. Ashby, cold and furious, maybe, stares at you, Thorn. What have you done?
Thorn will turn her gaze to Ashby, and it's a very cold. I think this is the coldest, most reptilian look that either Lionel or Reginald have seen on Thorn's face thus far. And she just says in a very low voice, "Thorn has protected her people, Twice Walker."
She goes pale. You don't know what you've done. And with that, she herself misty steps away.
Thorn just shoots a hiss after her and just goes back to tending Coria.
You all notice, Reginald and Lionel, that Thorn's eyes are now purple.
But not a weird purple, just kind of like a pretty purple.
Yeah, not a weird thing at all. No, not weird at all.
It
can't be weird because it has to be me now.
Yeah.
It has to be pretty.
Not galaxy eyes purple, but you know.
It's like a purple that that complements the color of her tongue.
Specifically the tongue color.
Yes.
Not the scales, the tongue.
But she says nothing to either of them. Her sole focus right now is on Coria.
Stop it. Coria, his eyes tired and drooping. You can't tell if it's from us or from the rage ending. He looks up at you and he lets out a long sigh and just says, "I need sleep." And he falls forward into you, just utterly collapsing.
Coria, I can't breathe.
Just get a big blanket. We'll leave him here.
No, we probably should not do that.
Agreed.
I would love nothing more than to do that, because we probably are going to have a hard time carrying him anyway, because I don't know how our strength is between the group, but
Not good.
we can't leave him here. At least Lionel feels we can't leave him here, considering
Because
everything.
Reginald got the highest strength of the group.
Because Thorn is not a strength pally. She's a dex pally.
I don't need my strength. Technically speaking, I need my brains.
I got
I
those
mean,
too.
you need strength to swing a hammer. I'm just saying.
I need enough strength to swing a hammer, which I have. I have average strength.
I don't have a negative strength, so I mean, it's fine.
I'm the same.
I have a 14,
Yeah.
What the fuck?
and I'm a wizard.
Yeah.
Around you,
Buff boy.
several of the Night's Fangs have finally arrived, and a few Fort No Knights, the ones guarding the manor interior, with blades drawn. All of the Night's Fangs, though, look to Thorn as if for leadership, and Thorn, uh, etched on every single one of them in some way, shape, or form, is a purple symbol that you immediately recognize as a warlock brand. And as if by oath, they seem bound to you.
I don't think Thorn really knows what to do with that kind of information, but she's very nervous about their presence. And I think she's still just kind of stuck and smushed under Coria, and just wiggles a little bit to try to get out. Can't get out. Very undignified. Just kind of like waves her shield at them a little bit. Go away. Leave him alone.
The elves, as confused as you are, honestly, acquiesce, like, almost immediately. Some vanishing in puffs of smoke and magic, others just turning and walking away, mumbling something about this bullshit charade. But the Fort No Knights, however, are not bound by the same spells. And among the four of them manage to heave Coria up and off of you. And look to the rest of you, saying, Mr. Saspy has told us to let this be, but I should warn you that there are dissenters here who do not agree with her statement. He killed 4 of us alone. 4 knights of Fortino. And he's like almost spitting those words at Reginald. He's very accusatory. But if leadership says we don't kill, then we won't kill. I watched this man get dragged in on him. You may want to put him back on and get him out of here.
Yes, no killing, and I do believe that he certainly cannot stay here, so I suppose that is a good motion to take.
I think Lionel just doesn't say anything in regards to all this and just kind of starts to try his best to help move Coria's massive hulking body.
Help.
Yeah, as I said, help.
With 11 strength or however much it is.
Listen, I will go find a fucking ramp and a fulcrum and I will get his ass up there through burning power. I won't be able to push it up there, though, probably. Not without some serious luck.
Between the 4 knights, they are able to lift Coria's body seemingly easily, honestly, as if imbued by magic, probably from the armor they're wearing. And they assist you all in bringing him to the same cart that Thorn inadvertently watched him be brought in on.
Well,
Additionally, oh, go ahead.
Well, we certainly can't stay here with him, and we need to leave regardless to head to this ranch. I suppose we may as well leave with him and take him with us.
probably for the best. We can always drop him off in Van Dalen as well, since we're gonna have to go towards there anyway. We just want to make a small detour. He should be safer there, much safer.
Thorn says nothing. She is watching like a hawk as everyone loads her big brother onto this probably still bloody wagon, and waits until everybody kind of like backs away from the wagon, and then she gets on it herself and just like curls up against her brother's side and just like waits and watches.
It's a unique thing watching a lizard folk of that size heal. Lizard folk in general generally have some sort of regenerative factor to them. But watching it take place on open wounds, pretty wicked. But the stable hands in the local area furnished you with the two steeds, two Shire horses that brought in the wagon and set you on your way, along with Vincent, the ox, in the wagon that he totes.
Well, very well. I guess we are now headed to Butterskull Ranch, and or maybe a quick detour to drop off a formerly injured individual.
Thorn would note that, like kind of quietly, just as they're going, that dropping him off in a city probably isn't a great idea. But that she would keep an eye out for, and she would do this along the way, keeping an eye out for any wooded areas that would seem appropriate for him to find some safety once he's healed up a bit. If he chooses to leave. Thorn is of the opinion that her brother still needs watching over, and she's hesitant to leave him by himself. But if he were to choose to leave or thinks that he's capable of being on his own right now, she would acquiesce to that.
We can always propose to him that he stays in Van Dalen until he is better. I'm sure the townsfolk would be more than happy to welcome him, given what we have done for them.
Thorn has her head kind of like resting on like one of Coria's arms, and she's just like kind of sullenly staring at, at Lionel. Yeah, maybe he can stay at the inn.
I think. Go ahead.
I don't think the second story would fucking support that.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Thorn doesn't think that the rooms are big enough for him, but maybe he can stay in the cellar. At least until things die down.
I think Toblin wouldn't really have a problem with that too much, as long as, Koya doesn't get into a barrel.
Well, I feel that at this stage we could impress upon him the nature upon which this individual arrives and will be departing.
I think Lionel simply nods at that. As much as he is open to conversation, he is soft spoken in regards to everything at the moment.
My poor dumb brother.
Well, Being that you now have 2 carts, traveling is going to be a little bit slow.
Mhm.
I'm going to say that you can cover roughly 25 miles a day, which is about 5 hexes on this map. You're currently in Leyland, which is about in between where Reginald and Lionel are. Puts you about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You'll be at the crossroads roughly, where the Tribor Trail turns down into Fandalen. If you wanted to start making your way to Fandalen, you would have to rest at about this point, however.
I think that's fine because it gives us time to rest, talk. Maybe Korea is awake and he can offer what he wants to do.
I concur.
Very well. And just so that I, for record keeping's sake, can
Mhm.
manage or understand where you all are intending to go. You all have currently roughly 3 or 4 locations available to you. The Dragon Barrow, which you discovered in the library, information about which is north of your current location. You have Axholm, which is somewhere in the mountains. I will get the location for you pinned here shortly. Coneyberry and and through Coneyberry, ultimately Butterskull Ranch. And you all are headed for Butterskull Ranch.
Yes,
Yeah.
as notated on the map, the current battle plans, or from my understanding of them, is step 1 is deliver to Fandalen our injured friend, and then step 2, take the road up to Butterskull Ranch.
Yes. But why are we going to Butterskull Ranch again?
Because it's where the people ran away from Conneberry after the orcs do the Unga Bunga.
Yeah.
Try to save the peoples to tell them to go to
To-
Fandalen.
Right.
Do we though? Okay.
The
Yes.
ultimate reason would be to save as many civilians as possible, right?
As much as we do not like her at the moment, she made a logical point in regards to getting the people out who have not done us any harm at the moment.
Thorn disagrees.
Y'all just have this hate for her that's so unwarranted. Like, I just don't understand.
I just
I
have I have a
mean-
personal bias, to be fair.
Reginald's into it. That's all I'll say.
She not only hit my brother, but she's like weird about trying to charm people. Thorn doesn't trust people that smile that much. Like there's just something.
Genuinely happy to have you there.
No, I disagree.
I'll
I
be
don't
honest
like
with you.
her.
I'll be honest. I'm a biased dick, but that's because of backstory stuff.
Well, I feel like Thorn and Ashby are now like sister wives. So
In what way? Please explain that logic to me.
Oh, John, Reginald knows.
Reginald's in the middle, Babu. Okay.
I was talking more about Dominique, but that's you know.
Oh, that
Oh, I understand. No, I'll still
You
fucking
get it
kill
now?
her.
Words for which we are not supposed to know.
Sorry,
Yeah.
y'all.
I don't know. It's fine.
We are not worthy.
We'll deal with it later. It's fine.
So, you all start your journey, and Man, leaving the Ashby Manor behind, it's a beautiful place, but now you've left with maybe a lot more questions than you ever really got answered.
No, fuck that place.
You got
The place sucked from the second we stepped in there.
I worked really hard on this place, okay?
That's her character, though. Let her character hate it.
But I feel like nobody really got what they wanted here. Like everybody showed up expecting to see the Night Fangs perform, and that just didn't happen, really.
It did not happen. You're right.
What a letdown, huh?
Blue balled.
That's right.
You all got locations, you definitely got some information and some directions, but ultimately, it was far less fruitful than I feel would have been expected. But you did gain a companion. For as you're traveling, you make your way up the Tribor Trail. Night crests, the moon rises, and the evening overtakes you all as you find yourselves setting up camp next to the trail. Coria stirs in his wagon. Groaning, he lifts one of his many hands and places it on his draconic like skull. It's been ages since I've been beat like that. I don't even think Father beat me that bad.
Thorn makes a doubtful noise.
I know that little voice. Where are you? My eyesight fails me.
Thorn, like, moves a little bit against his arm.
I'm glad I found you. Or rather, you found me, if memory serves.
Yeah, you kind of tried to beat the shit out of Thorn, though.
I distinctly remember only trying to hit somebody in a golden armor.
Yeah, that was me. I got the message, don't worry.
Yes, well. I apologize. I was not myself.
It's fine. I understand given the circumstances.
But now
Besides-
my mind seems to rest behind midnight walls. I'm sorry, Koval, were you about to say something else?
I was just going to say, besides, you weren't the one that actually hurt me.
Ashby ain't no joke.
No, she isn't. It fucking hurt.
Well, where are
On the Tribord Trail.
Yes, about to the crossroads that connects Fendalen with the rest of the trail.
we? Does anybody know where the dragon is?
Not currently, no.
Are you all still hunting the dragon then?
Yes?
That is the ultimate goal, Coria, yes. We have things to do in between that, like get information and allies and supplies, and try to get as many people out as we can. But yes, the dragon will fall.
Dragon has already taken many of our people.
She headbutts his arm a little bit, but no more.
Yes. And he pushes himself up onto one arm and looks down at you. No more, thanks to you.
She just smiles at him a little bit and tilts her head.
Well, if it's dragon hunting you all are doing, then I want to come.
Are you going to be up for it? You still look kind of like hell. Believe me, I know what hell looks like.
A big, toothy grin splits his face, shining even in the night. And he says, the dragon won't know what punched it this time.
Oh, if you're up for it, we were going to possibly stop by Fandalin if you still weren't feeling well and have our friends there look after you while you healed, but I have a sneaking suspicion you won't allow that.
He shakes his head. Not this time. We're gonna go. Whatever it is you're doing, I will assist. You can only benefit from my hands.
Thorn kind of looks at him and is just like, "Oh, we're gonna have to do a lot more hunting."
Have you been hunting for these other two?
Well, they can't do it themselves. I mean, look at them.
Lionel simply nods like, she's right.
Reginald will give you a little.
I mean, Lionel has some survival skills, but they're more like, how not to die. Not so much how to get wild food into stomach.
Well, all we have to do is get you a bow, and we'll be just like mother and father.
Oh, look at this thing! And she pulls out her crossbow and starts just firing little crossbow bolts. It's Thorn-sized.
Just like Vorel, except smaller.
I think she kind of like puffs out a little bit. Like her chest goes out a little bit, and she like strikes a little bit of pose. Yeah, just like Mom.
I think Lionel seeing Coria chuckle like this and seeing Thorn with a crossbow makes him smile a little bit, but is a little melancholic about it. Just the images of an older brother or rather, a brother and a sister and one getting ready to hunt.
Thorn will look back at the other two. I guess Thorn guesses it's decided then. He'll come with us and we'll do some good at Butterskull.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I would never turn down such willing strength in our aid.
Excellent. As if you could ever say no. But, and he looks around for food, there is not enough here for me, so I will be back. And he shoves himself off the cart and walks off into the darkness to acquire some bloody meat.
Thorn just watches him go, and I think her tail wags very gently, like maybe once or twice. Like it's just a really quiet thump thump. But she's still very subdued, still very quiet, and just continues to watch after him and doesn't look back at her companions.
Do you want to talk about why you've been so not you most of the day, aside from the last 6 hours that we can understand considering, but the morning prior?
Thorn just looks at him and kind of tilts her head. Thorn doesn't know what you mean.
Well, in the morning you were not energetic, did not really eat your food with as much gusto, were very quiet, and your ears were drooping.
She kind of a little. What is the word I'm looking for? Not subconsciously. What the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Holy crap.
Self-consciously?
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Self-consciously grabs her ears and just kind of like runs her hands down them. Thorn didn't sleep good.
That's the understatement of a century.
Thorn had really bad dreams. Thorn thinks Thorn might have almost died.
Like 5 different times.
Do we all want to talk about last night? Because Thorn wasn't the only one to have a strange occurrence happen in the evening. So, the man that you have. God, how do I even put this? The man that you talked with and then seemingly gave Corio his will back is someone I have encountered before. And he and I had a meeting last night. He is also the man who I lost a game to and lost all of my luck. And nearly every bad thing that has happened to me has been a consequence of my arrogance and foolhardiness in thinking I could beat someone at a game for a prize I thought I could win.
It must have been very difficult to see him again.
That is an understatement. And I feel I was once again a fool with him. Because I made another deal with him to try and get what I want. And I will. Lionel subconsciously or looks at his armor and the half plate, and the hand like morphs into claws and then changes back. And now I don't know what happened between you two, Thorn, but I do need to warn you that the man plays games. And I do not know what his intentions are. They could be good or they could be bad, but they are always to his own desires. They will always serve him and only him at the end.
Thorn's gaze goes a little bit sharper. Like, her pupils dilate a little bit, or they go to slits. Then he and I have something similar and in common then. Because, before all else, Thorn will protect Thorn's people. And that is Thorn's greatest concern. Thorn is sorry that your experiences with him are not good. But from where Thorn is standing, he has done Thorn a good service.
I can only hope that remains true for you. Are you willing to tell us what you gave in return for the service?
DM, would Thorn be willing to tell them? Thorn considers it, and she turns that like softly cold look back to Lionel. Thorn will not tell you.
I just hope the price is not too great.
Regardless, it is Thorn's price to pay, not yours. And then she'll turn her gaze to Reginald. And you, who seem so welcome in such a terrible place.
Savage.
Husband's laughing at me over here. Threw me off.
Well, what of me, yes.
The rest of us had terrible nights. Should we assume that you did as well? Or did you sleep in your private quarters so very comfortably?
Well, I mean, I suppose there was a level of comfort, yes. I also received some visions in the evening. However, they were visions of the Lady Bennet, and that is perhaps where I would end that discussion. Everybody knows and thinks it.
Yeah, I was just thinking, no.
We miss so much reaction not seeing Jesse's candid reaction to the words that come out of my mouth.
I wish I could just turn my camera on her. She's dying right now.
I have to pee so bad.
Go ahead.
Laughing hard makes
Go ahead.
me. No, I'm okay. Laughing makes me have to pee more. Thorn doesn't have anything to say to that. Thorn just kind of like stares at him.
Fight.
Well, anyways, I suppose we ought to make camp then if we're going to be staying here for the evening. My question for you, D, is in terms of Victor and the cart. Do we need to send him back to Fandalin on his own if we don't opt to go there and continue on our way now that we know that we don't need to make a stop off? Or do we have to actually deliver him outright?
So, Victor has officially been given to you all by
Oh.
Arbin Wester,
perfect.
forcing Barthen to give him to you.
So now we have our own fancy cart. Excellent. Now we have
Perfect.
2 fancy carts.
You can officially abandon Coria's card if you all want to. I'd keep the horses, though. Nice horses.
The horses will help.
So yes, you do effectively have a small cart that a single person can ride on and can carry roughly 2, maybe 3 crates worth of stuff with an ox that is toting it. You also have a very large cart that is being toted by 2 Shire horses.
I think that we should keep the cart that Coria was carted on, just because we are going to a place where there may be several injured people that we could use to transport them on the cart for. So
We should probably clean that up too.
that's fine.
Get the hose.
I'll get the prestidigitation out.
Yeah.
So, that being answered, your destination is Butterskull Ranch. And while I am prepared to take you all there, There are a few events between here and there, and if it's okay with you all, I would like to leave things here for the evening and pick those up next week. It'll give me a little bit more time to flesh things out, as I haven't been feeling the best lately, and I haven't put near as much time and thought into future events as I would like to.
All
fine.
good. I'm
I'm
fine with it.
good.
You give Kita a chance to go pee and not explode.
I already went pee.
There you go. Ninja tactics.
Perfect. The stealth pee.
Well, with that then, thank you all for watching, and thank you all for playing.
Okay, bye.